What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Trey, and today I'm going to be making a video about how I found out / how I knew I was pregnant. So I put on my Snapchat story who wanted to know my pregnancy story, and a lot of y'all actually slid up, and I was actually surprised because I didn't think that many people was going to slide up, but you know. Anyways, let's get started. So we're going to start off with me going to the store to get a pregnancy test. That's what we're going to start with, because everybody knows how you get pregnant. We don't need to explain that. And I'm not really going to throw no names in this video, so don't go looking for stuff. Just saying. Basically, I knew I was pregnant. I didn't really find out because my body already knew I was pregnant. It's just I wanted to confirm it, basically. So one day, me and my sister were supposed to be going to Dollar General to get candy, and we were supposed to be going to Wendy's to get food for my aunt because she was getting her hair done. She couldn't leave, so we went to Wendy's. We went to Dollar General. We got candy, but we also got 2 pregnancy tests. I got a $1 pregnancy test because if it came out negative, I didn't want to be sitting up here spending like $13 on a pregnancy test and it come out negative. That's a waste of money. So I spent $1 because I heard they still work exactly the same. So that's exactly what I did. Spent $1. We got 2 pregnancy tests because my sister wanted to take one. She was on birth control. I don't know. But, you know, I knew I needed to take one. But I didn't really want to take one because I was scared of, like, what the results was going to be. So we went to Dollar General, and I told my sister, like, you're going to go in there, and you're going to get the pregnancy test, and I'm going to pay for the candy as if I have nothing to do with this, because I've never did this before, and my sister has, and I was like, I've never did this before, and it feels weird to me to walk in here. We went into Dollar General, and we picked up all the candy or whatever. I got the candy, and I'm like, that's what I'm here for. But I was actually there for the pregnancy test. So we got the 2 pregnancy tests, and we went back to the house. Me and my sister both peed in plastic cups, and the little plastic cups, and because it was a droplet pregnancy test, or the little dropper thing, the little one in science class when you squeeze it, and y'all know what I'm talking about. We both peed in little plastic cups, and then I think she did hers first, and then I didn't look at hers, and then I did mine, and then we waited, and I think I actually sat there and stared at mine. To be honest with you, I don't know what it's called, but inside the pregnancy test is something that absorbs the urine. So as it's absorbing, it uncovers the line or whatever. So I was just watching it. Both of our pregnancy tests came out negative. So my sister was like, woo, yeah, we're not pregnant, da, 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 da. And I'm like, sis, you're not pregnant. I'm not taking no test to tell me I'm pregnant because I already knew, because my body was just, something just was not right. I'm going to school, acting normal. A couple people knew. Other people had guesses because I was missing a lot of school. I was, it was just a few people that had guesses. Like, very, very little people that I didn't care about. I was sleeping a lot in school. I was missing a lot of school. And then, like, I couldn't walk in the cafeteria because the smell was just awful. It was so bad. Weeks went by. And me and my sister was sitting on the couch watching a YouTube video. So my recommendations came up. And on my recommendations, it was a lady that was talking about how she tried to get pregnant and couldn't. So she kept taking pregnancy tests that kept coming back negative. And one day she walked through her door at her house, and her dog was sitting there with the pregnancy test sticking out of his mouth, like trying to, you know, give it to her, like, look at this, like, look at this, this is crazy. So she took the pregnancy test, she looked at it, and it turned positive. Sis, did you just hear that? This lady just said her pregnancy test turned positive. I never knew pregnancy tests can turn positive. I've never heard that in my life, ever. But I guess, you know, people don't normally keep their pregnancy tests. I mean, I know I do that. But I don't know. I guess people don't, I don't know. Or maybe theirs just never turned positive. So they was like, yeah. So I kept mine. And me being curious, I just got up and walked to my room. I didn't even say nothing to my sister. I just got up, walked to my room. I was too early to take a pregnancy test for it to come out positive, basically. And it still needed to absorb whatever is in the urine that tells you it's pregnant. I forgot the name of it. But whatever's in the urine that tells you that tells the pregnancy test you're pregnant, it was still absorbing it at the time because I was too early, like I said. So I went in my room and I opened my box that I had my pregnancy test in, and I picked it up and I'm like, okay. And then I looked at it and I just put it down. I was like, wait, hold on. Because one line was really dark and one line was like very, very, very light. But you can see that line. I thought I was tripping just because I thought / knew I was pregnant, so I thought I was tripping. So I'm looking at the pregnancy test. Then I'm like, maybe if I sit on a flat surface, it'll tell me the truth. I don't know. I was just thinking all types of stuff. I was being stupid at the moment, like just saying the stupidest stuff. So I set it on a flat surface and I looked at it and it was the second line there. So I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I'm like, you know what? This pregnancy test is broke. It's broke. Simple. But in my head, I'm like, nah, girl, you know. Ain't no pregnancy test gonna turn positive if you wasn't pregnant. It wouldn't turn positive at all. So I'm like, it was tampered with. It's broken. That line was already there and maybe I just ain't see it. I was saying all types of stuff. So I went and I had it I had it either in my pocket or behind my back or something. And I walked in there to my sister, and when I said her name, I started crying because I already knew. I'm just like, this is crazy. So as I was like, Nana, I was like, no, and like, you know, I was crying. She turned around. She was like, you lying. Oh my God. And I'm like, I didn't even say nothing. Like, I didn't even say nothing to you. Why are you crying? Like, I could be over here saying anything and you already crying. So I guess she just knew or whatever because how I've been acting and stuff, and you know. So she was like, you lying. And she's like, Trey, you pregnant. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then, but in my head, I'm like, girl, stop lying. Just give it a pregnancy test. Like, sometimes I really just be ready to beat myself up because you're just doing too much. You're doing too much. So just give it a pregnancy test. So I was like, come to the kitchen. I'm going to set it on the counter. You tell me if I'm tripping or not. So I set it down on the counter and she looked at it and she looked back up at me. She was like, oh my God, I'm going to have a niece or a nephew. And I'm like, this is really what you focusing on right now? Girl, I'm pregnant. This says I'm pregnant. And you worry about if it's going to be a niece. Girl, get it together. Get it together. So I'm like, dang, like this is crazy. So I just went, I put the pregnancy test on the table in the living room and I just sat there. I had the blankest stare ever because I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what I was going to say to my parents. I'm just sitting on the couch. Me and my sister are talking. I'm like, no, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm 16. Like, I can't be pregnant. This is crazy. Like, this is not what I want to do. I have plans for myself. There's things I haven't done. Like, it was just so much. It was too much for me to handle. I mean, I already knew, but it's always going to be a shocking moment when you find out you're pregnant. Like, no matter what age you are, no matter, like, it's just shocking. Like, once you actually see that it's confirmed that you're pregnant, every time you're going to be shocked. I don't know. I was just like, oh my God. So I'm just sitting here crying and I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do and what I'm going to say to my mom. That was who I was really worried about, my mom. So later in the day went on, put the pregnancy test back, and I just stayed in the room with my sister and was talking to her about it. I ended up getting like really, really sad to the point where I just stayed in my room because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what to do. But before I told my mom, I was already like, I'm just going to get an abortion and I will tell my mom later on in years. But I can't do that to my baby. I was gonna get an abortion and her dad agreed with me because neither one of us wanted a kid at the moment. You know, neither one of us was like, yeah, we're gonna have a kid. Like, no. So me and her dad came to an agreement that we were gonna have an abortion and that was gonna be that. So I was looking for clinics, I was looking up prices. all types of stuff. But in my head, I'm like, you don't really want to do that. Like, this is your baby. What if you get an abortion and you're not able to have another kid? What if, like, it's just so many things that could happen to you when getting an abortion, and I didn't want to go through that. I couldn't do that. I was going to feel really bad about it. So I ended up telling her dad that I didn't want to get rid of it. I wanted to keep it. One day, I had called my friend. I'm like, hey, I love her so much. She lived down the street from me. So I'm calling her. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? Because my car is messed up at this point. So I need somebody to take me to the store to get a pregnancy test. Another pregnancy test. Because I wanted to really, really confirm that I'm pregnant. So I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, nothing, just at home. Like, can you do me a favor? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, can you take me to the store to get a pregnancy test? So yeah, so we went to Publix, we got the pregnancy test, and she paid for it and brought it back to my house. And she's like, oh, after you take this pregnancy test and it comes out negative, we're gonna go celebrate. I'm like, girl, it ain't about to be no celebration. I can tell you that now. It's not about to be no celebration. So I came in the house and I went to the bathroom. I, peed in the cup again, and then I took the pregnancy stick and I stuck it inside of the cup. As soon as the pee hit the stick, y'all, the test turned positive. And I'm just like, no, it didn't. No, it didn't. So I walk out and I show my sister and I'm like, Nana, like, it's positive again. So I'm like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding. Because now stuff is starting to get real for me, like real. So I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this test says positive again. This is a clear blue. This is the good one. And it says positive. So I'm like, I can't believe this. So days went on, and I had told my friend, I'm like, that test came back positive. Like, it came back positive. So she was like, no, it didn't. She's like, you know what? I have one more. She was like, I have one more in my car, and you can take it, and we'll see what it says. Get close to personal for this one. I took the test, and right when I took the test, it turned positive again, like the second one I took. So now at this point, I'm like, I'm about to have a baby. I don't know what to do. I mean, why right now? Like, it was only bad. I only was like upset about it because of my age. People, I mean, you don't really want to have a kid. You don't want to be pregnant and have a kid 16, 17. My friend bought me the third pregnancy test. And, like I said, it came out positive or whatever. I came here, I put it down on the desk, and I'm just like. Then I went and I got the second one. Went and got the first one. I just laid them all three right there, and they was all pregnant. All three of them was pregnant. So I'm like, I just got to prepare myself. Because, stuff about to get real. So, fast forward, and when I tell my mom was yelling at me to wash the dishes. I was so freaking tired. And I love my mama to death. I promise y'all, I really love my mom. But I'm sitting here like, oh, there's other people in this house, Mom. Why I gotta wash the dishes? There's other people in this house, Mom. No, I'm not back there in the room. I'm the one that's tired. It's just crazy. So, I was extremely tired. Like, I was passing out everywhere. Like, it didn't matter where I was. If it was a couch or a bed or anything comfortable, I'm going to sleep. So I went in my room, I lay down. She like, Trey, come wash these dishes. And I'm like, about to make me rip my skin off. Like, girl, calm down. I don't want to wash the dishes. I want to go to sleep. She was not letting me go to sleep. So I got up and I went to the kitchen and I'm like, Mom, come here. And I pulled her towards the front door. And I was like, I got something to tell you. And she was like, what? And we're just sitting there staring at each other because, and I'm looking at her like, girl, ask me, am I pregnant? So I could just say yes. So I don't have to be like, Mom, I'm pregnant. I didn't want to say that. So I want her to like, be like, you pregnant? And I was going to be like, yeah, but you know. So I'm like, I got something to tell you. And she's like, what? And I'm just sitting there staring at her, you know, playing with my fingernails and just doing all types of stuff, trying to let her know, like, this is uncomfortable for me to tell you. You should know what I'm trying to tell you. So eventually she was like, don't tell me you pregnant. And I was like, she about to whoop me. Like, I was so scared. And so I was like, I didn't even say yeah. I just kind of like shook my head like real slow. And she was like, what, like, oh my God, you know the stare your mama give you, like, let's say you in the back of the car hollering and your mama just gave you that look and you automatically know, like, you better shut up. Like, you better be quiet right now. That's the look she gave me. When I shook my head, yeah, she was like, what'd you just say? And I was like, oh, please don't make me repeat it. Oh my God. Like, I thought I was going to cry when I told my mom, but I didn't. I actually didn't cry. So she was like, you pregnant? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, Trey, I hope you're not playing. This ain't nothing to play about. And I'm sitting here like, Mom, I'm not playing. I'm being dead serious. I was going to get the pregnancy test, but I'm like, that's a little too far because she don't even know I took the pregnancy test. So, but you know, obviously she had to know I took some kind of test to know I was pregnant. So she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty positive that I'm pregnant. Like, I'm pretty positive. So she had to talk to me. She was like, I warned you about this type of stuff. I have talked with you all the time. I'm very open with you, which my mom is very open with me. Tells me a lot of things. She tried to keep me away from a lot of things, but you know, I didn't listen. It wasn't that I didn't listen. It was just that it was a stupid moment. Like, you know, something, it was just, you know. So she's like, oh my God, I can't believe this. I thought she was going to cry. She didn't. We both just had like the most neutral faces just sitting there looking at each other. In my head, I'm like, oh boy, my mama finna stop talking to me for a little bit. Like, she ain't gonna want nothing to do with me. My mama probably looking at me like, I'm ready to beat you. Like, it was crazy. So we was just staring at each other like. And then eventually she was like, you know what? Just go to sleep. We'll talk about this another time. So I'm like, really? I'll go to bed because I've been tired this whole time. So I went in my room and I laid down. I'm just like talking to myself, like, why would you do that? Why would you go and get pregnant? Why would you, like, girl, what was you thinking? But you know, it happened. It was that. So my mom was asking me, like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to get an abortion. So I was back and forth between abortion and keeping it. I was back and forth. Like, one day I wanted to keep it, one day I wanted to get rid of it. It was so much. I'm like, do I really want to do it 9 months of feeling like this? But at the same time, you don't feel like that the whole 9 months. So I had to think about that too. And this is a whole baby. Like, this is a baby at this point. So my mom's like, we're going to set you up a doctor's appointment and we're going to go get you looked at. So I went to the doctors. You know, as time passed, I went to the doctors and I did a urine test again. It came back positive. But even when the doctor told me it came back positive, I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, this test just came back positive. So I looked at Mom like, and she was just like, oh my God. the lady that was talking to me was basically like telling me my options: abortion, adoption, keeping it, you know, all types of stuff. And I kind of just like cut the lady off, like, abortion. Give me the papers for abortion. That's what I want to do. So she's like, are you sure that you want to get an abortion? I'm like, give me the papers right now. Give me the papers. I know what I want to do. Give me the papers for the abortion. That's what I want to do. Give me the papers. So she's like, well, I'm just saying this other thing. She's like, I got an abortion and it still like hangs over my head to this day. Like, are you sure you want to do that? And I'm like, when she said that, I'm like, girl, stop. I'm trying to get an abortion and you over here making me feel bad. Like, so she was like, okay, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a ultrasound tomorrow if you can. She's, I'm going to give you ultrasound. And you're going to see your baby, see the baby's heartbeat and everything. And if you still want to get rid of it, I'll give you the papers. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll be back tomorrow for our ultrasound. But it was like, I'm going to get rid of it. So I didn't tell my mom that though. I was like, I want to go see my baby. Like, because I want to see, like, this is something I want to experience. I want to see my baby. Like, and most people probably be like, why would you want to go see a baby that you're about to kill? Like, that's messed up. But in my head at the moment, I already knew I wasn't getting rid of it. Because this is a baby with a heartbeat. Once she told me it had a heartbeat, I'm not going to kill my baby. No. Definitely not. My baby got a heart that's beating just like me. I'm not killing nothing. So I went to the ultrasound. And I laid there and my stomach was still flat at this time. Well, my stomach never been flat. But you know, your girl was good. So my stomach ain't have, you know, I was just like still normal. And I was getting an ultrasound and the baby was sitting on my left. Really tiny. The heartbeat was flickering like a bright light or whatever, and I was sitting there like, that's my baby. Like, oh my god. I didn't know how to feel. Like, I wasn't emotional or anything. It was just kind of like, wow, like, this is real. Like, this is real life. And I told my mom I wanted to keep it, and she was like, okay, if that's what you want to do, just know this is your responsibility. I'm not taking care of no baby for you. And I'm like, that's fine. All I got is time on my hands anyways. I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. I don't hang out with my friends. I barely go to parties. Like, I'm just not the type of person. I'm good. So, I'm like, girl, you got all the time in the world on your hands. You don't do anything. You have time to take care of baby. Don't kill this baby. Like, don't do that. So, I told my mom I wanted to keep it. I told my sister I was going to keep it. My sister was happy. My sister was too happy. My stepsister was too happy. I ended up telling my real sister. She was really happy. She was hoping I was having a girl because she has a boy. I told my brother. He kind of didn't say anything about it. He was just like, well, what are you going to do? I'm keeping it. Then when I told my stepdad, this is the part that hurt me the most, but me and him ended up talking about it. I didn't tell my stepdad. My mom told my stepdad. She wanted me to tell him, but I couldn't because I was already like disappointed in myself, and I knew my mom was disappointed. And it was just a weird conversation to just have, like, oh, your 16-year-old daughter's pregnant. Like, he's been my stepdad since I was 4, so technically that's my dad. So we were sitting there and my mom's like, Trey, tell him. And I'm like, who? She was like, Trey, tell him. So I was like, okay. Then I started crying. Then she was like, all right, well, I'm going to tell him. So she was like, we have a new addition to the family. And he was like, what? We got what? And she was like, we got a new addition to the family. And he was like, somebody pregnant? And she was like, yeah, Trey. And he was like, she getting an abortion. And I was like, hold up, wait, what? Before I decided to keep it, I would have completely agreed with you. But now you're doing too much, sir. I need you to sit back. I need you to sit back. I wasn't upset that he told me I should get an abortion because I know everybody felt that way, but I was upset how he said it. Like, she getting an abortion, like, just straight like that. And I was crying and stuff, and he didn't even care. He was like, he didn't care. He was like, I don't care. She ain't about to have no baby at no 16, 17. What's wrong with y'all? And I'm just like, people make mistakes. Like, oh my gosh. Like, I understand how you feel, because if this was my baby, I'm gonna be the same way. But it was just like, why do you have to say it like that? Like, I'm already emotional enough, and now you just telling me like you don't care. I have to have an abortion just straight like that. I don't have a choice, and this is my baby. Like, I don't have a choice at all. So, word got out to the family. You know, your mama always. So let me tell you, fam. You know, word got out. All the family ended up knowing. My grandma came to the house one day, and I was always in my room. I never came out my room. And my grandma was like, baby, let me talk to you. I'm thinking my grandma, the main one that's going to, like, girl. But she didn't do that. She called me out into the living room. She's like, why are you hiding in your room? I'm like, it's not that I'm hiding. It's just, I have stuff to think about. Like, everything that's going on is just crazy. And she was like, let me tell you something. She was like, I got pregnant with your mom at 16, had her at 17. My mom got pregnant with my brother at 16 and had him at 17. And she was like, my mom, not her mom, my mom. And she was like, if you want to keep the baby, keep the baby. She was like, this is your baby. She was like, you make your own choices. You decide to lay down and do this with whomever. So if you want to keep the baby, keep the baby. I'm like, but nobody, in my head, I'm like, nobody really wants me to keep the baby, though. So why am I going to keep something that nobody accepts? Like, that makes no sense. My baby's going to come into this world and nobody's going to accept him or her, because at this time I didn't know what it was. So I'm like, nobody's going to accept him or her? That's crazy. No. So she was like, baby, just do what you got to do. That's all I got to tell you. So I was like, okay. So I'm still going back and forth, battling myself. Like, am I going to keep it? Am I going to get rid of it? I decided to keep my princess. I'm not gonna walk around here crying and depressed and upset all the time because I'm pregnant. Like, I have to make sure my baby is okay. So, I'm happy that I'm having my baby. I am. I'm not even gonna lie. I am very happy I'm having my baby. But do I wonder sometimes and be like, oh, you know, yeah, I do. But I'm not gonna upset my baby. No. So if you like, I'm too happy, oh well. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, that was the longest story of how I found out I was pregnant. Well, how I knew I was pregnant. I wasn't doing a gender reveal party and stuff like that, but you know, I couldn't wait. So I'm having a little girl, and I'm in my second trimester now. So I will, if you guys like this video, I will make more videos going along with my pregnancy, giving you updates, showing you guys my stomach, and things like that. We'll see how this video goes, and you guys can let me know if you want more.